Welcome to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games, and welcome to my Fantasy General 2 Onslaught tips and tricks. Now, I've done the run with also the blind, so the focus will be mostly on units that she gets, which is mostly like monsters, beasts, and things like that. But a lot of these tips should be applicable even for other heroes and also for the regular campaign. So I'm going to start this off with the tip number 1, charming animals. And then sort of maybe an unusually used for this ability. So this is an ability of a wolf mother. Is upgraded stag rider who is upgraded light spear infantry. And the ability allows you to charm an animal and make it switch sides as long as the caster is alive or the spell duration lasts. Which essentially means that it allows you for a certain amount of turns to make the enemy yours. So when you hear about this, what you would think is that you should take the strongest animal enemy and try to make it yours, right? Well, actually, I found there's a better use of this, and that's if you pick an enemy that's kind of in the middle of the enemy ranks. A good example for that would be these spiders, and you make them yours. Then, because it's the closest within the enemy ranks, the enemy tends to attack them instead of you, which means that you can essentially make the enemy waste around 3 to 4 attacks in that particular turn and not hurt you at all. So essentially you can use them as kind of like a meat shield for the enemy attacks. Second tip we're going to talk about is defensive fire. The unit can support adjacent allies in battle by firing a volley into any attacker prior to combat. The way this works is that enemy is going to attack your units, let's say the trolls as you can see in the example, and my archers are going to hit back first, then the enemy is going to hit the trolls, and then the trolls hit the enemy back. Now, normally you only get 1 defensive fire, right? You only get 1 hit back. So essentially if the enemy does this once, then they can use the rest of their units to attack normally. But if you upgrade to the highest level archers, for example, you could get these armored archers, they give you infinite defensive fire charges. If you combine this with a really strong melee unit, you essentially, on weaker enemy units, you can essentially get insta-kills. As you can see on the screen right now, I have the XMX chargers, and behind them I have my archers who are called the Robert's Eagle Protector, and you can see the enemy demons moving at the chargers. Then my archers are hitting them, the demons are hitting my chargers, and then my chargers are hitting them back, and essentially I'm insta-killing the enemy unit, and I can do this almost forever. So this is incredibly powerful because it allows you to hit up weaker enemy units. Now another interesting tip is that the defensive fire stacks, means if you have multiple archers next to each other who are all adjacent to the unit that's attacking, they can all shoot. So for example, there is a flying unit, this Eagle Slinger team, which also has defensive fire. So if you place the Eagle Slinger team on top of the archer unit, then you can essentially get 2 defensive fires. Unfortunately, this one does not have unlimited defensive fire, but it can still help you out a little bit. So this is insanely powerful because look at this, I'm just doing insta-kills after insta-kills, which is huge, and it's not even my turn. It's not even my turn. Tip number 3 is more like a question that I'm going to try to answer, and the question is, should you rather try to hurry a mission to get as much wealth possible, or would you rather capture different kind of like castles, towers, camps, and things like that? What is the better decision? Now I'm talking mostly about capturing, not raiding. Remember, raiding is a free action, so you can do it, but it's going to lower your wealth. There's no like clear answer, but I'm going to give you some sort of my experience with this. So when I started the game, I thought the answer was mostly to do wealth, to kind of try to hurry through, but it's actually not such a good idea. First of all, capturing camps can give you a free unit, and new units are pretty expensive, so getting something for free is a really good idea. Secondly, castles give you 10 gold per turn, so capturing castles early on is really good. Capturing caves is also good because it can either give you money or other resources, and you can get quite a lot of money. You can get like 100, sometimes even 200, just by capturing or raiding a certain place. So I would say it's a definitely good idea to try to capture. Another tip here is, when the wealth runner times out, you can no longer gain anything from capturing. If you capture a cave after the wealth runner, you're not going to get any resources or anything like that. So if you know you're going to run out of wealth anyways, for example, if you have to kill all the attackers, you have 5 turns left and you know what, I'm not going to make it in time, don't fight. Instead, use the 5 turns to try to capture as many places as possible, and then take however long you want to fight the army, because you do not get a penalty. Whether it takes you 1 turn after the wealth meter runs out or 20 turns after the wealth meter runs out, it does not matter. There's no penalty there. It just means that you can't get any bonuses from capturing. So if you know you're gonna run out of time, capture first. Another tip here is, In the Onslaught campaign especially, you get a lot of maps where your goal is wait until the wealth turns to 0. On these maps especially, first of all, capture as much you can, but second tip is raid as much you can. Raiding lowers the wealth meter, which means the end game will come sooner, which will make it easier. What I'm going to talk about is an upgrade on Elsa the Blind. If you're playing with her on the Onslaught game, what I really recommend that you try to get as soon as possible from her upgrades is RUNE-BOUND. You can store a small amount of mana and retrieve it at the start of each scenario, plus 6 mana at scenarios. This is really good, because this is really going to help you get a lot of mana at the start of each scenario and allows you to do the charming animals tip that we talked about previously. So I highly recommend that you take this one as soon as possible. And tip number 5. Now, tip number 5 is more of a trick actually, and that's talking about supply. So if you are full on supply of 17 out of 17, does that mean that you cannot get any more units? Actually, no. And this is the trick. If a scenario gives you as a reward a hero or a unit, you will get that unit anyway. So for example, here I'm at 17 out of 17. If I look at this scenario, save the human instead, it yields a hero as a reward. I'm going to show you right now. You can look at right the last turn in the game at 17 out of 17. Once I jump out of the game, I can still pick a hero, and once I get him, it's going to be 18 out of 18, as you can see right now. So it will increase your supply. Now, what does that mean? You essentially get free supply increase, because there are scenarios that yield you as a reward supply increase, right? But if they yield you a unit, you can get both for the price of one. You get both the unit and the increased supply, which is really good. Same for units. If a scenario or story in the scenario is supposed to give you an additional unit, you're gonna get it anyway. Now, the supply does limit. If you, for example, capture a camp, you will not get a new unit because you've run out of supply, so you will not get anybody there. But if it's like a scenario or a story reward, you will get it anyway. So that's a really good tip. May I say so myself? And those are my 5 tips for Fantasy General 2 Onslaught. Let me know what are your favorite tips for the game in the comments. And if you'd like, you can see my Fantasy General 2 Onslaught Let's Play series on the right, or watch my introductory episode of both the main campaign and the invasion campaign. I'll see you there. Bye bye.